So a couple weeks back when I was in the hobby shop looking for some replacement parts for my fake Bronco, I made an impulse buy. I'd kind of seen some videos about them, and I just couldn't resist the temptation when I saw them on the shelves for the price that they were. I ended up picking up two of the new Redcat Ascent 18s. For $100, you really can't beat that price. They are pretty capable, little bitty 1/18th scale crawlers, and they're pretty awesome. But I didn't want to tell my brother about it. I wanted it to be a surprise. And since I knew I was going to be upgrading them, I didn't want to tell him about them until I got all of the upgrades. So by the time I got home, I probably spent almost twice what these things were worth in upgrade parts, between brass, new wheels, new tires, and inserts, etc. And then I just had to wait for the parts to come in so I could actually take them out and go have some fun. As much as I wanted to surprise him one of the times when we went out to the quarry with the RC cars, with these things being upgraded, I decided what would be funner is if I made a comparison video between an upgraded one and a stock one, and then posted it up to YouTube and waited for him to see it to catch his reaction. So that's what I'm going to do tonight. It's supposed to be a short break before the rain comes in. It hasn't rained all day. We've had some storms off and on this week, but it should be dry enough to do a quick comparison video up at the quarry of the stock versus the upgraded. All right, so I came out here to the quarry today after work just to see if I could get a real quick testing in on the new Ascent 18 that I picked up from Redcat. I picked up two of them. I also hopped one up with a lot of brass parts and some tires. So I'm curious to see a direct comparison on how the stock truck does versus how the upgraded one does. Go juice, and it made it. There he goes. Made the rest of that no problem. We're going to try coming up these rock piles. Stock one first. Try this hard line that first guy failed. There, yeah, right up and over. There we go, yeah, bridge that gap. Pretty close to... Okay, so we made it up an easier path. we'll just try for the hard line out of the gate again. Push that around. There you go. I'm telling you, these wheels, these tires, and all this brass is definitely helping this little Ascent 18 get over a lot of things that the stock Ascent wasn't quite able to do. All right, so we're gonna do a hill climb here and see how well the stock one does. Keeps bumping in that direction. I think I'm piling rocks under myself. These back tires just not wanting to grip. He made it up it eventually. Definitely struggle busted. And now he's going back down again. Back right is not gripping that rock to climb. We'll go, Juice. Made that bump just fine. He's also struggling on that same rock. Not for long. Look at that. So before it rains real quick, I am going to do a quick little update. These things are pretty good. The stock one isn't doing quite as well as I was expecting, but it is super lightweight. The upgraded one is doing a little bit better, but it's probably because it's got an awful lot of brass in it. I'm gonna run some trails back to the car with these. Hopefully I don't get rained on, because there's a front moving in, and it's supposed to be a good one. Rescue him in a minute. So I managed to make it back from the quarry just as it started raining. Like, I was feeling some raindrops hitting me as I was walking back to the truck. So I think I called it a good time. These trucks did pretty good. The upgraded one definitely did way better than I was expecting it to do. I didn't have any obstacle that I hit that, other than the rocks being too tall for it. But otherwise, doing some of that trail stuff, he rolled right up. So I'll do a quick overview of what I've done to these trucks to help their performance out, the upgrades that I got, and all of the list of free modifications you'll see on these things all over the internet. These clipless bodies are actually pretty decent, and you can see I've had a few raindrops on it as I was getting back to the car. But the clipless body makes it, taking it on and off, really simple for, you know, changing the batteries. Some of the changes you'll notice straight out is I took out both plates in the back and in the front to just free up a little bit more weight in the top. You also have to, if you want full travel on your suspension, you have to notch out the frame a little bit, and you have to notch out the top of the steering servo so that it will go much further down and almost max out those shocks. So that gives you a little bit more articulation. And in the process of moving those plates out, I had to do something with the receiver and the ESC. And then I also took the battery tray out and replaced it with a smaller battery, and I put Velcro on it to keep it in place. A very easy little modification. The battery came with it was 750 milliamps. This is 450. I'm curious to see how long this will last on the 450. And with both of these being moved forward and lower, I feel like that definitely helps the center of gravity a little bit. And the bonus is you can get your finger up in here and you can turn that on with the body on it. The only thing you have to take the body off for is changing out the battery, and that is amazing. As far as replacement parts for this, I mostly just replaced all of the low parts on brass. So all of the portals. On the back, it's just the rear, it's the outer portal housing. On the front, it's both the inner and the outer portal housing. I also replaced the steering link, as it was the most likely to take an impact from a rock, and it is just a cheap plastic. Yeah, you can see there's already some scratches on there from today's little adventure. So the other modification that I made to these was I trimmed the body a little bit. You can see I trimmed the back of the fender, right in front of the door. I trimmed the fenders themselves. I trimmed a bit of the front bumper and a bit on the rear bumper. Because when you're at full lock, these things are still impacting. And you can definitely see it when it's at full flex. It still gets into that fender a little bit, but not nearly as much as it does with stock. Like it's totally like, it's digging into that tire, digging into this tire. So trimming those fender flares, I think definitely helps a little bit. I feel like with the smaller fender flares, it looks a little bit better than it does with the bigger fender flares. I don't want to take it completely off, as I'd still like a little bit there, just for the looks. So that was the other modification I made to these that I think definitely helped. I don't know if that was one of the differences why this one, the stock one, couldn't do a lot of the stuff the non-stock one could do. But even just weight-wise, I mean, this one's got a definite advantage over the stock. In addition to the Endura tires and the Endura beadlocks, I have the Endura yellow inserts. They're the softest ones they have, and as you can tell, they still don't flex terribly much. I mean, just looking at that front wheel under full weight, it's still not. I'm pressing on the car a little bit to get it to flatten slightly, and it still doesn't fold over stuff as much as I'd like it to, but it does help a little bit. There's a little bit of give to it when it runs into obstacles, but not as much as I would like. I don't know if there's softer inserts, but the inserts themselves help immensely with the sidewall performance. So you can tell, pushing to the side, it doesn't really do anything. So by the time that my brother sees this video, I'm going to have all these upgrades put on this stock truck, and we're going to have some fun the next time we go out. So if you've been thinking about getting into the RC crawling world, but you've got a low budget, $100 get you started, and then you can start replacing stuff as you want. Probably the easiest, cheapest upgrade would be wheels and inserts. So I mean, that might run you maybe $50 if you get expensive ones. You could probably even repurpose the stock tires themselves. They look to be pretty decent and they're fairly grippy. They just need better inserts and better wheels to go with them. So $100, you can get yourself a Redcat Ascent 18, and you can go start having some fun, hitting those trails, hitting those rocks, doing a bunch of crawling that these little guys generally don't really do that often. So Redcat definitely hit it out of the park with this one. I hope the rest of the manufacturers pick it up and follow their lead. So as far as the world of budget RC crawlers, they gave us one heck of a capable little rig that we can go have some fun with. Thanks for watching.